Android 14 seems to have been delayed. So contrary to my video yesterday, I don't think it's going to be out until probably October the 4th. So I released a video yesterday saying the release was imminent. OnePlus had already announced they're going to drop Android 14 on like September 25th. So there was a virtual certainty that Android 14 was going to drop any day. Actually, from what I was reading, even manufacturers were expecting it to drop yesterday, which was the day after Labor Day, the first Monday of September. So from the leaks that I'm seeing, and people from reputable sources are quoting that there seemed to be some sort of major issue that had to do with Android 14. Might it be a vulnerability? I'm not exactly sure what it was, but all sources and fingers are pointing towards October 4th. Now, what's October 4th? That is the announcement date for the event for the Pixel 8. So this could be bad because the last time we had a phone and the operating system launch at the same time, it was Android 12 and the Pixel 6, and that was disastrous. That was terrible. And it took us an entire year to recover from that, so much so that they rushed Android 13 to get it out, launched it several months early so that they could fix a lot of the major problems that were caused by Android 12. So now we find ourselves in a very curious position again, and if you're waiting around for Android 14, this is going to be impactful basically I think across the board, because if it's a major issue with Android 14, that means that OnePlus won't be able to drop theirs until it gets dropped by Google, and that means that Samsung can't drop their new One UI 6 and their version of Android 14, at least to my knowledge. So that puts us in a precarious position, and heaven help us if we actually have any issues, because we're going to run into a tandem thing again, where we get new hardware with a new chipset that launches with a new operating system version all at the same time. And last time this happened, that was a recipe for disaster. I sincerely hope that it's not. I'm glad that they found whatever issue this was last minute and decided to pull it, because it would be a really bad position for us to be here going, okay, we got the new Android 14 and then we've got all these problems. And then of course that wouldn't bode well for the Android 14 Pixel 8 combination. That would be bad for the Pixel 8 launch. So I'm glad they did that. I don't know if maybe it was a CYA, because here's the thing. If they launched it and there was something that was bad, that was wrong with the operating system again, everybody would be going, oh, it's happening again, it's happening again. And this would be impactful across the board for, of course, multiple brands and their phones. And I think it would shake the confidence that consumers have in Android, of course, the Pixel 8. Because if they're going to announce the Pixel 8 on October the 4th, and then you've got all these issues leading up to it, then, I mean, who wants to buy that phone, right? Everybody will go, we'll wait until things get ironed out. We'll check it out a couple months later. And initial sales on these phones are king. Like, you've got to have the initial hype and sales and all that great stuff. If it's having issues right before it comes out, that's going to impact that. So I know this is kind of disappointing, because we were all sitting around waiting for Android 14 to drop. I thought it was going to happen basically today. It should have happened yesterday. So that puts us back on the clock waiting and watching again. And it leaves even more questions for the September patch. Like, are we going to get the quarterly feature drop with the September update? Are they going to drop the September update? Because I think that the idea was they were going to drop Android 14. If they dropped Android 14 yesterday, that would have encompassed the feature update, and that would have kind of washed out the whole requirement for them to drop a quarterly feature drop, which I've been talking about and predicting for over a month. So it seems like I was right. They were going to do that. But since they can't do that now, how are they going to walk that back? And then, two, that leaves another scar on them for their inconsistency with their software. Because if they go ahead and they say, all right, Android 14, we're pushing it back to October. Well, if we've got we've got a September quarterly feature drop that doesn't happen, I don't think it's going to happen. So that means we're going to have a whole month that we don't have the update. And then on top of that, basically them reneging on the whole, well, no quarterly feature drop. So this could be the first time they've pushed back an operating system update to coincide with the product launch when it was supposed to launch early. And it could be the first month that we actually don't get a quarterly feature drop. So I don't know. We'll have to see here over the next couple of days if there's any sort of update. Of course, Google never says anything, right? They never tell us what's going on. They never give us any information. This is all back-channeled information that people are getting from their confidential sources and things like that. So fingers crossed, but terrible timing. Like, terrible, terrible timing. I waited all day yesterday to see if it was actually going to drop, which is why my video dropped so late. But then I was like, hey, there's a little bit of silver lining here. We know we're going to get it before the end of the month, and not sooner than like 5 minutes after I drop my video. Oh, by the way, it looks like it's delayed till October. Whoops. So, yeah, I wanted to get out ahead of that now. I was wrong because Google screwed up. Had they not screwed up, I would have been right. I have a pretty good track record on this stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to sign off on here. If I get any more news or updates on this stuff, I will certainly let y'all know. I will be following it very closely and to see if there's any more updates, stuff like that. And we'll see if we even get this quarterly feature drop, because that's one of the things. You get a Google Pixel phone, you're supposed to get 4 quarterly feature drops. This might not happen. So let's see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it. That's all I've got in this video. So if you got any questions or comments or concerns, I'm sure you do, go to the comment section. We'll talk about it. If you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful, if you like the Pixel content, you're in the right place. Hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.